Ever thought about what happens after you hit that order received button online? I mean, it's a whole journey from warehouse to your doorstep, right?
It is a journey,
Hmm.
and most people don't realize how complex it all is behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, the often overlooked role of the forklift operator.
Interesting you say overlooked, because it's actually a role that's in high demand these days.
Right. You think warehouse gig, you might picture, well, I don't know, something kind of simple. But this is way more than just moving boxes around.
It's way more.
Hmm.
And to help us unpack it all, we've got some great insights from RoleCatcher. They're a career development platform really digging into what makes different roles tick.
Love that. So, what's RoleCatcher telling us about forklift operators? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, for starters, the whole warehouse scene is changing automation, AI. It's a whole new ballgame.
And forklift operators are right there in the thick of it, I bet.
Absolutely. Think about it, the rise of same-day delivery, these massive
Yes,
warehouses.
it's not your grandpa's warehouse anymore.
Exactly. And that's why understanding this role now, it's not just about maybe wanting that job, but understanding how the whole system works.
Okay, I'm hooked. What else did RoleCatcher uncover?
This is where it gets interesting. They talk about how there are different types of forklifts. Like, it's not just one size fits all.
Really? Okay, I had no idea.
Right. You got different classes, class 1, class 2, class 4. Each one is designed for specific tasks and environments.
So you're telling me there's like a whole science to this?
You could say that. You've got your electric riders for precision work, then ones for narrow aisles, then others for heavy lifting.
Wow, see, this is why I love these deep dives. Just when you think you know something.
It turns out there's a whole lot more to it.
So we've got specialized vehicles, we've got evolving technology. What about the actual work? What's it like to be a forklift operator day to day? So paint us a picture here. What's a typical day like for a forklift operator? It's got to be more than just, driving around.
Oh, absolutely. RoleCatcher really gets into the mental demands of the job. These operators are processing so much information constantly.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about it. They need total spatial awareness. Like they're navigating tight spaces, often with obstacles.
Right, and they've got other people around them too. Can't forget that.
Exactly. Plus, they need to know the warehouse layout like the back of their hand, where everything is.
And those SQQ codes you mentioned?
Yes. Deciphering those codes, knowing which pallet goes where. It's a lot to keep track of.
And I imagine speed matters too, especially with the pressure on delivery times these days.
Absolutely. Efficiency is key.
Uh-huh.
But safety can't be sacrificed. RoleCatcher really stresses that.
Well, for sure. It can be dangerous work if it's not done right.
Exactly. And not just for the operator, but everyone around them. They really emphasize the importance of training and certification.
Makes sense. You're handling heavy machinery after all.
And potentially hazardous materials, depending on the warehouse. So yeah, safety training is non-negotiable. They even mention specific programs like OSHA-approved courses.
So a good forklift operator, they're not just skilled, they're safety conscious.
100%. They're like safety ambassadors in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Always looking out for potential hazards, whether it's a damaged pallet or a colleague not wearing their PPE properly. That attention to detail is huge.
And speaking of details, we were talking about technology changing the game. What's RoleCatcher say about that?
They highlight the rise of AI-powered systems in warehouses.
Like robots doing the driving.
Not quite robots, but close. They're talking about algorithms that optimize routes for forklift operators.
Wow. So instead of relying on like their gut or experience, they've got an AI telling them the most efficient path.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing productivity.
Ah.
But, they say, it also makes the role even more demanding in a way.
How so?
Well, now operators need to be able to adapt to this new technology, understand how it works, troubleshoot if needed.
Makes sense. So it's not just about muscle anymore. It's about brains too.
Totally. And adaptability. Being able to learn new things quickly.
Which, let's be honest, is a valuable skill in any job these days. So we've talked about the day-to-day, the skills needed. What about career progression? Can you really climb the ladder as a forklift operator? So you're saying there's room to grow in this field. It's not like you're stuck at entry level forever.
Not at all. RoleCatcher actually lays out a pretty clear progression. They say it often starts with, well, proving yourself as a reliable operator.
Okay, makes sense. Like you show up on time, you're good with the forklift, you don't cause any accidents.
Exactly. You've got a clean safety record, you consistently meet your targets, and then you can start looking at, specializing.
Specializing, tell me more about that. What does that look like for a forklift operator?
Well, you might get certified to handle, say, hazardous materials. Or maybe you become the go-to person for operating those really specialized forklifts.
Oh, right. Like those ones that can reach super high up or something. Those things always look kind of intimidating to me.
They are pretty impressive. And those roles, they usually come with, better pay, more responsibility.
Okay, so you've mastered the forklift. You've got some specialized skills under your belt. What's the next step on the career ladder? What's after that?
Well, from there, you can move into a more supervisory role, like become a team lead.
So you're not just driving the forklift anymore, you're managing other drivers.
Exactly. You're delegating tasks. You're making sure everyone's following safety protocols. You might even be involved in training new hires. It's a stepping stone towards, maybe a warehouse supervisor position down the line.
So you're telling me someone could start out driving a forklift and end up running the whole warehouse?
It's definitely possible.
Mm.
And RoleCatcher even mentioned some forklift operators. They leverage that experience to move into like inventory management or logistics roles.
Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about. It just shows you can't judge a book by its cover, or I guess a job by its title.
I like that. And think about it, all those years spent in the warehouse, you gain a really deep understanding of how things work, the flow of goods, the whole supply chain.
That's got to be valuable knowledge no matter what job you end up in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And let's not forget those soft skills, communication, teamwork, problem solving, all those things you hone as a forklift operator. Those are essential for any leadership position.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, all right, I'm sold, forklift operator, here I come.
Mhm.
What are some tips for acing that interview? I bet RoleCatcher has some advice there too, right?
Oh, for sure. They actually have a whole section on interview prep.
Yeah.
They say, first and foremost, you got to know your safety regulations inside and out.
Like chapter and verse.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Be prepared to answer questions about, handling a spill, navigating a crowded aisle, dealing with a mechanical issue.
So it's not enough to just say safety first. You've got to prove you live by it.
Exactly. And of course, be ready to talk about your experience with different forklift classes, any certifications you hold, any warehouse management systems you've used.
Show them you've done your homework. You're not just looking for any warehouse gig. You want this one.
Exactly. Enthusiasm goes a long way. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Show them you're curious, you're eager to learn more about their operation, how you can contribute. That makes a difference.
This has been amazing. I feel like we've really gone beyond the surface level here and gotten a real sense of what this role is all about.
It's been fun. I always love digging into these roles that are, like we said, often overlooked, but so crucial to how our world works.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, we hope this deep dive has given you some new insights, some food for thought, and maybe even some inspiration for your own career journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.